The basic tools and everything that you'll need for the Aquaphor RO are the same as really any RO, just a few slight modifications. Mainly with the wrenches, you will need a 13 millimeter wrench and a 14 millimeter wrench, as well as a 5/8 inch wrench. That's really the only differences in tools. Basic tube cutter to cut your lines. You want a nice, smooth, even cut on all your lines when you're making your connections. We do have kind of a custom tool that we use here at Hague, and a lot of dealers make some of their own custom tools. Some of them go as far as actually cutting the box wrench, so it's more size appropriate for installations. What we've done is taken just a piece of like electrical conduit, a pair of channel locks, and smashed the end to fit the appropriate nut size. So when you're up underneath attaching the faucet, you can get the nuts on a little easier than with a box wrench. The first thing you want to do when you get your RO is check the packaging. A lot of these are being shipped UPS. They can get thrown around and damaged. So look for any obvious signs, any tears or rips in the box itself. And you can go ahead and open up the box. Yeah, you'll find the RO and all of the appropriate adapters. There should be a saddle clamp, your angle stop valve for your feed water supply, an Aquaphor user manual, and then the Hague supplied owner's manual, the Aquaphor RO itself, and the faucet. Once you get the RO out of the package, you'll want to double check the filter placements. They may not be placed in the exact location. There's two stages. There's a rinsing procedure and a working procedure, and we'll go through and show the difference between the two. Each one of the Aquaphor filters are marked and labeled. It may vary depending on which series you received. Eventually they will all be uniformed and hopefully a little more service installation friendly, so it's easier to distinguish which filter is which. Here we have the mechanical filter, which would go in the position 1. It's pretty easy to tell it apart. It has a cap on the top that can be removed by pushing up and turning. And that will actually expose your sediment filter. This filter goes in position 1, or the black, during the working water operation, and the rinsing cycle it will go in the blue. And you just insert and twist. Another filter is the fine purification of water, which is a 0.8 micron, and it's easy to confuse with the 3 micron carbon block filter, but the 0.8 is the polishing filter, or the post filter, which most people are used to, and it goes into the white location, and it actually stays there for the rinsing and working operations. The 3 micron filter, for the rinsing procedure, the 3 micron filter will go in the black location. Then your last filter is the actual Aquaphor membrane. And it's kind of easy to tell apart because it has a John Guest fitting at the bottom that connects to your reject or waste line here on the RO itself. And it goes in the red position for the working water process. But for the rinsing application, you'll want to remove the top decorative cover and get your rinsing cap. For the rinsing position, your rinsing cap gets locked into place in the red position. In the top underneath the decorative cover, you also have the little lifting fork here. This is actually used to remove the retaining clips from the header and the IO valve on the top. I found a small little flathead head screwdriver works pretty well also. But once the unit is all plumbed in and ready, this is your rinsing position. You'll want to rinse the filters according to the installation manual. It takes about 15-20 minutes to get a really good rinse. The idea with the rinsing position is when the feed water comes in, it'll rinse the two carbon Fost filters. Most of the fines will be caught in the dirt and sediment filter, protecting the manifold up top and all the check valves and everything from any particles getting lodged in place and causing the unit to malfunction. Once the Aquaphor has been completely rinsed, all you'll do is remove by pushing the collared plate and swapping the black and the blue. At this point, for the working water position, you'll put your mechanical filter in the black, your 3-micron filter in the blue. Remove your rinsing cap from the membrane red spot. Connect the reject line to the bottom of the membrane. And then insert the filter into the red location. And you can return the decorative cover on the top. Lock it into place. And this is the actual working position of all the filters. Your feed water will come in, go through the mechanical filter, go through the 3-micron carbon block, through the membrane. The water will then be discharged and put in the storage tank. Upon use, the water will come out of the storage tank, go through the final pre-filtration, the 0.8 micron carbon block, and then into your glass of water. The location of the ports for installation, you have your raw water feed, your product line, and your reject line. The two bottom ports we get a lot of calls and questions about. They were really just there for testing purposes. They are not to be hooked up or installed to anything. And in later models that we receive, these ports actually won't even be there. The plastic covering will come up, so you won't even see them. You'll just have these three exposed. Here we have the top of the Aquaphor RO. This portion here we call the manifold. It's where all the filter housings and everything snap into place and where the flow of water goes to be filtered. On this section here we have the IO, or the in and out. It's where your feed line comes in, your product and reject water go out. During the flow of water through the system here, your main feed water comes in, goes through this blue line to the first sump, the black housing, the mechanical filter. From here it passes over to your 3-micron carbon block filter, or your pre-filter. From here it goes to the membrane housing, the red, where the water is distributed product and reject. Your reject comes up through this white line, then out to the drain. Your product water comes through the membrane, through this area here, over to over here where it's redirected into your storage tank. From your storage tank, the water flows back up through your post filter, the white section, or your 0.8 micron carbon block, where it comes through this line, out the middle of the I/O, and to your faucet. A few things that are a little bit different. As you can see, most of the line coloring is all the same. We have blue is for product, raw, and storage. A lot of people with the H3500 are used to a yellow line, a red line, and a blue line, with the reject or waste line being black. On here it's white. A few other little differences. It does have flow restrictors. One of them is on the product line right here. Some dealers may be familiar with this type of flow restrictor. Other dealers that have really just dealt with the H3500 may never have seen one. We do use something similar on the permeate pump. The brine out has a capillary tube or a flow restrictor very similar to that. Check valves and automatic shutoff valves are here. It's our understanding currently that this manifold system will just be distributed as a part. It'll be an entire assembly that can be replaced by removing these retainers. You can use the little white fork that comes with it. To simply pop the retainers out. Or I found the small little flathead Heg screwdriver works pretty well. But you just pull out the retainers, the assembly removes, you can place a new assembly to replace the whole manifold. Very similar with the I/O, just remove the two screws. This whole assembly can be removed and a new one put in its place. The air gap spigot that comes with the Aquaphor is a lead-free air gap spigot, and it should contain all the necessary components to do the installation. On the back, it also has a diagram to kind of lay out exactly how to install and where everything goes. In the box, you should get all of your spacers, washers, and nuts, the spigot itself, the escutcheon, and then your actual air gap hookup. This part of the assembly of the spigot will be a little bit different than the H3500 ROs or the ROs that you're used to. This escutcheon will actually go and cover the fittings for the air gap faucet, and this will set above the sink. Your spigot, rather than just pushing into place, does kind of have a decorative cover here that threads on. But it's the same principle with the double O-ring seal here where the faucet connects to the air gap base. And you will want to assemble all this prior to doing the installation, as well as connect your lines to your barb fittings for the air gap, and then fish the lines in this through the hole of the sink or the countertop. From there, it's very similar to most other RO spigots out there and the one that we use on the H3500. These components will need to be assembled underneath the sink.